forest, water, desert, otherworldly, fire, ice, and final dungeons. Thus far, I've covered them all and given my opinion on which had the best music for each respective category. This gives us 8 incredible pieces of music in total because I did fudge a little bit and chose 2 for one of these themes, all from a series which boasts far too many amazing pieces to count. Naturally, the next step is to now pit these 8 pieces against each other. Which one will come out as number 1? Well, if you've seen my previous music videos, then you know that is all too easy to predict. Hence, the bigger question at hand is how I'll choose to order the rest. Hey y'all, I'm the Geek Apprentice and welcome to my actual last video in this series. We've gone through each of the 3D Zelda dungeons discussing and ranking their pieces, and now in a battle royale style, it's time to discover which one reigns supreme. Well, in my opinion. As previously stated, which one will be number 1 is pretty obvious if you are familiar with the channel, and I have no shame in that. However, I do need to point out that yes, this is quite similar to another video I made a few years ago, the most atmospheric dungeon themes. However, unlike with that video, I'm not trying to be objective. This is more so just what I like the sound of and what I think sounds best in my opinion. I'm not trying to match a certain theme, even though that's why each of these were picked. So of course it's highly subjective, and with that in mind, be sure to comment below which one is your favorite. By the way, the only reason it's so dark right now is because I recorded this earlier, but this is a new camera, a nice camera, but it's not an amateur's camera, and I didn't take the time to fix the visual settings, so when I went back and looked at what I recorded, oh, it was bad. I thought it looked good until so I had to adjust all the settings, and now it's nighttime, so there we are. So let's do a recap as to who our top 8 are. First, in the spirit of introductory dungeons, even if it was just for adult Link, our forest dungeon is the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time. Next, after wading through water dungeons, the chosen theme was for Skyward Sword's ancient cistern, both above and below. Afterwards, we fell upon our desert dungeon, Stone Tower Temple from Majora's Mask. Then, because of the dual nature of otherworldly dungeons, high ethereal versus hellish, we have 2. The City in the Sky from Twilight Princess, and the Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time. In the nature of heated topics, for our Fire Dungeon, I chose the original chanting theme for the Fire Temple from Ocarina of Time. Walking on thin ice with slim pickings for chilly icy dungeons, Snowhead Temple from Majora's Mask was chosen. And finally, for our final dungeon, we have Skykeep from Skyward Sword. Somehow, despite it having some of my favorite music, Wind Waker did not make it anywhere on this list. The Wind Temple probably would have been close, but oh well. It's difficult to think such a great and controversial piece like the Fire Temple theme from Ocarina of Time would be at the bottom of any list, but given the nature of this list, that's not really an insult. My favorite part of this theme is honestly the chanting. I will reiterate that I completely understand why it needed to be removed. But the fact of the matter is that the original theme is oh so good and perfect for the dungeon. That said, I suppose when you remove the chanting, even with the ominous screams used in several pieces from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, there's not too much left. Hence its placement on this final list. boy was it difficult to put the Snowhead Temple theme from Majora's Mask this low. This piece, as I highlighted in my Ice Dungeon video, does a great job of heightening the sense of urgency while sticking with the chilly theme throughout. Is it something I want to listen to on the regular? Perhaps not. But that's not a point against it, rather just the opposite. In fact, there are several Zelda themes which do just that, and this one was perfect for its dungeon. One of the two that won on my list of otherworldly dungeons, the Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time has the perfect use of those disturbing moans and screams. One of my favorite parts of this piece is the tribal-esque instrumentation used throughout, save for one or two which give it its mystical vibe. These instruments speak to the barbaric nature of this dungeon, mausoleum, or torture chamber if you will. For better or for worse, this is a theme that sticks with you. The ancient Cistern from Skyward Sword. Even with the above-ground main theme, it manages to be mostly peaceful with just a hint of eerie, alluding to what's really going on beneath the surface, literally, which its other piece of music expounds on so well. Overall, the main theme is a nice piece to just chill and listen to. It's a beautiful fit for this serene-looking dungeon, and likewise on the flip side, for the underparts which are anything but serene or peaceful. It might seem a little shocking that this theme would rank so high, but Twilight Princess's City in the Sky theme is just so potent to me. Such weird creatures, such advanced technology, such a high atmosphere, and the music plays to each of those traits quite well. Obviously, we have the sounds of the uka which pervade sporadic measures of the piece, as well as the overall melody being lofty in feel, but there are touches of the odd which speak to the advanced technological part of it all. Most definitely one of my favorite pieces from Twilight Princess. Even without any context, both the normal and inverted music pieces for the Stone Tower Temple from Majora's Mask are great. So mysterious, tribal, ancient, and disturbingly whimsical all at once. add on the dungeon itself with its intricate design both in terms of look and gameplay, and you've got an excellent piece. And that is still not including the story and lore behind the temple and its surrounding areas. Now the music is elevated to an entirely new level. A fantastic piece all around. Both of them. I know I just talked about this piece in my last list video, but the music for Skykeep from Skyward Sword is something else. This theme could be described similarly to the ancient Cistern, but in a different way. Yes, it has an air of peace, but the eerie isn't in the sense that it's scary or that it's hiding anything. A word that I believe better suits this kind of eerie is curious. I can just imagine walking into an old cathedral with insanely high arches, exuberantly colorful stained glass, detailed pillars, halls going on for seemingly miles, all to make you forget that it's even a building built by man. Think the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, Spain. This music could play there, well, in my mind anyway. It's no wonder that it made it to number 2 overall. It is absolutely no secret nor surprise which piece is number 1. As such, in addition to the fact that this piece has appeared as number 1 on several lists of mine, I will forego speech and simply allow the music to speak for itself. It goes without saying, but dang, Koji Kondo and his fellow Zelda composers are insanely talented. Even when it came to the simplest of dungeon themes, they matched their atmosphere so well. And that goes even for themes that weren't exactly my favorite, such as the Forsaken Fortress from Wind Waker. And whether there are going to be dungeons or not, though I hope there are, creating this video has hyped me up that much more to hear what kind of music the sequel to Breath of the Wild will bestow on us. Thank you all so much for watching this video and this entire series. Again, be sure to comment below how you would have ordered these 8 themes. Also, I need to give an extra big, massive thank you and shout out to Daniel/Captburgerson. First of all, his dungeon design series is what inspired this series for me. For those of you who haven't heard of it, I will put a link to his channel in the description below, but essentially he goes through each dungeon in a Zelda game, dissects them, talks about the maps, the Easter eggs, everything under the sun, and it's done so well. He's already gone through Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask while comparing it to the 3DS versions as well, Wind Waker HD, Skyward Sword HD, and is currently working on Twilight Princess HD. You've got to check it out if if you haven't already. And secondly, a good 80% at least of my game footage for this series came from him. I'm not joking, it's thanks to him that this series can even exist because he let me use a ton of footage. So Daniel, thank you so much. Continuing with the appreciation, thank you so much to each of my channel members. We just got a new one, Natsu, welcome to the geekdom, as well as my patron supporters, especially those in the highly end tier over on Patreon, which are Joking Batman, Code and Data, Trevor, and McToppler. Like I said in the last video, it's y'all's support that got me this new amazing camera. By the way, we also had a movie night with patrons recently. We watched Home Alone. It was a good time. That is not highly in tier only. That's a bunch of tiers. So if that's something that interests you, because it's a really fun time and we had a really good turnout, head on over to patreon.com/thegeekapprentice to check that out. But if you're more interested in seeing videos early, getting badges and stickers and the live chat of my streams, then check out becoming a channel member if you want. There's different levels to everything, so if you can't afford a lot, there might be one for you, but I also totally get it. Times are tough. It's just a thought, throwing that out there. And I also have merch now. Again, still feels weird, but it is out there. Links in the description below for all of that. Also, if you do buy any merch, be sure to somehow send me a photo of you with that merch or of the merch itself because I would love to share that. But anyway, that's all for today. Merry Christmas and thank you for watching.